Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're giving you our start-sit analysis for Week 1 matchups in the NFL. That's right, we've got football this week, guys. Let's start this fantasy football podcast right meow.
Hit the drop. Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Football Upside. I am Justin. Kyle points at himself. Boom. Boom. Thanks for dropping by our Fantasy Football podcast and YouTube channel. I'm sure you guys are just excited as we are because we just got to watch Thursday Night Football.
Oh yeah, there was real football.
Real football. I don't know
about you, but none of that weird European football.
Listening to Al Michaels, just like that silky smooth voice, and Chris Collinsworth with some analyst here or there, that was so good. It kind of brought back some normalcy into our lives, and that was great. I can't wait to hear them again Sunday night. But today we're going to give you all the start-sit questions for the rest of Week 1, so the rest of the games.
Settle in.
We're going to get through them pretty quickly here, though, so we're going to try to get you in and get you out. But starting next week, we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to split this into 2 episodes, and we'll release those Thursday and Friday. So we're learning, just as everybody else is learning, how we want to do this year during the season, and I think that's going to work out really great for us. Kyle, what do you think?
I think that's going to be awesome. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can get those, and also click the bell so it'll notify you when we upload those episodes. And hey, man, Week 1 is here. We are in the middle of Week 1. We're also going to start dropping waiver wire stuff. We're going to talk about like we did with the Thursday night game, and then we're also going to do our starts of the week, streamers of the week, fades of the week every week, so that you kind of get a little bit more refined view of the start-sit questions that we're going to be talking about on a weekly basis as well. And look, Week 1, it is the first week on your road to the
championship.
And you're in the right spot to ensure that you get there. So hang out with us, guys, the whole season. Let us know your start-sit questions. We've been getting a bunch of those on the on the channel on YouTube, and that's great. We try to respond to every single one that we can. So feel free, if you've got a question, to either hit us up there over on Facebook. We've got at FFB Upside. We've got JW _ the Upside and Kyle _ the Upside as well. So those are
on Twitter.
On Twitter. Sorry, I said Facebook, didn't I?
Yep.
All right, so let's dive in head first into the shallow end. Let's are ready to go. We're going to just run through the early games on Sunday. Mm-hmm. So we've got Eagles at Washington, Justin. So I am going to talk about the Eagles start sits, and you're going to hit Washington for us, right? Washington football team. All right, so we're only going to let you guys know about the starts here. Okay, so we've got Carson Wentz as a start. Miles Sanders is a start, but you got to be careful. He is listed as questionable right now. He's likely going to be on a pitch count, which makes Boston Scott a sit, but possibly a start in your flex if you're going to start him. That kind of depends, in my opinion, on whether or not Miles Sanders is a full go or if like a game time decision in the end. Another start would be, for me, would be Deshaun Jackson. You get one game out of Deshaun Jackson, so use him now and then trade him.
The first one.
Might as well be
That's
the first one.
That's what happened last year.
Yeah, and then the last start is the absolute start on this team, and that is Zach Ertz. Put him in your lineup. Leave him in your lineup. Dude is going to ball out this year. Also, by the way, Jalen Reagor is going to play. Sit him. Don't start him. Don't take that risk. You better have something ahead of him on your lineup at the first week of the season. So you save him for later.
We got him a little bit of a discount during draft season just because of the injury. So, definitely want to sit him just his first game, kind of feel it out and everything. And like you said, you probably have some other guys that you can start ahead of him. I mean, if this was a bye week or something like that, then, you want to go ahead and start him. But that's just not the situation.
What do you have for Washington for us?
Washington football team. Well, if we're only going to talk about starts, this isn't going to take too long.
Nope. Nope.
Okay, I will give you one. This is one that you're probably going to talk about tomorrow's episode. But if you're in a PPR, go ahead and start Antonio Gibson in your flex. Go ahead and try it.
That's about
See how it feels.
Yeah.
Another start that I would say is a definite start is Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
And a guy to keep an eye on just for the future is Steven Sims on the PPR leagues as a possible flex in the near future. So he's definitely going to be the wide receiver 2 in this offense. And
potential stash, too. He may
Yeah.
be sitting on the wire in your league. If he's
Absolutely.
sitting there, watch to possibly grab him after this week, guys.
See what kind of target share he gets or anything like that. And yeah, they're going to have to throw it a little bit. So they're going to be playing from behind. So let's see what happens.
All the time. But last year they were the lowest scoring offense. Do not hold a lot of these guys, unless there's like Terry McLaurin and maybe one other guy are going to have value on this offense.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We've got the Dolphins at the Patriots. I'm going to talk about the Dolphins here. And again, very few starts in this one, guys. We've got just a couple. We've got Jordan Howard, who should be started, in my opinion. And we've got Devontae Parker. Look, this is against New England. He schooled them last year. Question is whether or not they figured it out. I don't know. Stephon Gilmore is really tough. And Justin and I we were talking about this actually before we started recording here.
Yeah.
And I think that Stephon Gilmore benefited a lot from having a lot of solid help on that defense. And they lost 6 guys who opted out this season. That's going to make this defense a little bit less strong. And I don't know that he can sustain not really having help.
Right.
So that's a tough one. Then Mike Gesicki. So I like Devontae Parker and Mike Gesicki in this game, and I think that Ryan Fitzpatrick
with Jordan Howard
throw a lot. Yeah, I think Jordan Howard will do enough to be a start, but I would probably prefer to have him in my flex. That's all I've got for Dolphins. What do you have for the Patriots?
For the Patriots, I don't have that much either. I'm going to go ahead and start James White in a PPR. I mean, that's almost a usual start when it comes to that. I just think with this backfield, it's pretty banged up still. There's really not a whole idea of what we're going to have in the backfield of New England Patriots. Shocker. Never heard that before, have we, Kyle?
No.
You don't really know what you're going to get, but I think James White's going to get a good amount of work.
I mean, here's how much you don't know what you're going to get. They tell you Damian Harris is good, and then 3 hours later they put him on IR.
Kyle's not bitter or anything.
Not at all.
Not bitter at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Nope. Didn't draft him in our home league.
Julian Edelman, he's a start wide receiver. He's just going to still be a target hog, I think. I mean, he kind of can line right up in that slot and still catch a lot of balls. And, hey, guess what? That's all I got up for starts right now.
That's all you should have.
Yeah, keep your eye on Cam Newton. I don't know what's going to happen, but keep an eye on it.
This isn't the game, though. This isn't the game.
No.
All right, moving on. We've got Packers, Vikings. I'll start with the Packers here. And this is Packers at Vikings. I've got Rodgers here. This is not the same defense. So I would start Rodgers here. They lost a lot on the backside of this defense. They also lost the middle front of their defense in Linval Joseph, which comes into play for Aaron Jones, who is also a start for me. And then not only that, they don't have a clear wide receiver 2 on this team. Still, that was what Jones benefited from last year in large part. He did just explode when they had no wide receivers when Devontae went down for a while. So don't expect that level of play.
I would hope by this end of this week, I'm sorry to cut you off there. I hope by the end of this week we have an idea of who that number 2 is. But truthfully, I just don't know what this offensive, if we're going to find out after 1 week.
My guess is if there's a second wide receiver who's worth picking up, it'll actually be Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Okay.
That's actually my guess in the end. He's faster, and that's what they need. Alan Lazard's big, and he helps in the running game, but that's it. Look, don't start anybody else on this team. It's Devontae, right? That's the only person other than the 2 I mentioned, and you knew you were going to start Devontae Adams if you already had him. So, all right, what do you have for the Vikings here, Justin?
For the Vikings, hey, Dalvin Cook, another shocking one here. Dude's an absolute stud. You're going to start him every week, and you don't have to worry about it unless he starts popping up on the injury report. Don't want that to happen. Wide receiver Adam Thielen, because guess what? There's not a whole lot of wide receivers behind him. Yes, you have Ricky Justin Jefferson, first-round pick, but then you have Ola BC Johnson. I think he goes by BC now. That's really all I can really start right now for the Vikings offense.
Yeah, those 2
Cook
guys.
and Thielen. And that's the thing is they're going to get a heavy dose because those are 2 of the best offensive playmakers on that team.
Well, they're the only real guys worth owning on that team, other than Cousins in a bye week fill-in spot when we're talking about QB streamers. And that's if you're looking for a floor of maybe 16 points in the standard scoring league, he's not going to get you a ton. He might blow up every once in a while, but I think he's only got a QB 1 week in him, one time a season. One word of caution is that there is no news on Dalvin Cook holding out at all right now, which is, a bit complicated.
No news is good news, though.
Yeah, news is good news.
Yeah.
He's been there the whole time. He's been taking first team reps, but do keep your ear to the ground if you have Dalvin Cook in your lineup. Make sure that he is actually a full go. All right.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We've got Colts at Jaguars. We're going to let Justin handle the Colts here. So, what do you have for me on Colts, Justin?
Thanks for letting me. This little Colts thing. I appreciate
that.
Homer. You got to talk about your Green Bay Packers.
I did.
So here's my Colts time. I'm going to go ahead and start.
Uh-oh.
That
did you mute make that much sense? You there for a second. What'd you get?
I said I'm going to go ahead and start Marlon Mack and Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
I know that's a little shocking on some places, but I think Marlon Mack is definitely going to have the stranglehold of this backfield when it comes to the majority of the touches. It's probably going to go toward Jonathan Taylor towards the end of the season. I also take a look at Nyheim Hines as a possible flex in a PPR league, just because I think they were going to have him all over the field. When it comes to wide receivers,
solely in a PPR
right now.
Yeah, if he's getting any value, it's out of the slot. So
yeah, absolutely. Tywee. Oh boy. T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah.
T.Y. is my start for the wide receiver. And I'm actually going to go ahead. I mean, we're not really talking too many sits, but I'm still going to sit Jack Doyle. He's got a neck issue.
Yeah.
And, he's got a neck, Kyle.
Yeah, he's got a neck.
He's got a neck right now.
I have one too.
Yeah.
So just one thing, I would probably hope that I could put, if I'm playing Jonathan Taylor, I would hope that I have guys that I could start ahead of him and running back and put him into my flex. Marlon Mack, I feel confident putting him straight in as a running back right now. So Jonathan Taylor is the one that I would be a little bit weary of putting in as a running back. I would prefer him in my flex.
Probably kind of scared about that because, based off his ADP, man, people, they drafted early to get Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah. All right, moving
what you got for
the Jaguars. I have Jaguars. Jaguar. All right, so I'm actually starting Gardner Minshew, but I'm hoping I've got a better option. So there is that, right? But I think he's a possible start. I think he could surprise here a little bit. James Robinson, same thing. Start if you have no other option. And maybe that actually happened. We've got a lot of weird injuries going around right now. If you manage to grab James Robinson, he is the named starter on this team. So,
by the way, he plays running back. If nobody knows,
sorry,
I want to say that just because nobody's talking about James Robinson.
Yeah,
somebody's going to have to suit up in that backfield, and we just don't have the faith in Chris.
Yeah. So we mentioned it. I lost Damian Harris. Hours after we finished our draft, basically, right?
Here we go again.
It was like the next morning. And so I put in a claim on James Robinson, and I paid up for him a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. But I'm kind of surprised nobody else put a claim in on him. But that's the
it's
point
because
that
I drafted a good team. I didn't draft a pooper.
Oh, there's that. Yeah. I drafted a team that literally has one hamstring. And there's not enough to go around, right? They're all sharing.
New team name, hashtag no hammies.
Yeah. The only other start on this team, and he's a guaranteed start, is DJ Chark. So that's what we've got on the Jaguars. Yep. Let's move on here. We've got Bears-Lions. I'll talk about the Bears.
Yep.
This is Bears at Lions. Mitch Trubisky is a sit, and the only way that you start him at all the entire season probably is as a super flex team or 2 QB, and you have to start the 2.
And that's I probably would say it has a little bit to do with the decent little rushing floor. I'm guessing that's where you're going to.
That's the only reason to put him there. And then running backs, I'm starting cautiously David Montgomery here, but you need to keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
I would probably prefer him in my flex if I'm putting him in my lineup.
Yep.
And then the one and only Allen Robinson. We love Allen Robinson.
Yes, we do.
He's a start. Put him in your lineup. And then the one sit that I do want to mention is Jimmy Market Setter Graham. You should sit him. I know it's surprising. I know, but just go with me on it right now. Okay, guys? Just go with me. All right, what do you have for the Lions, Justin?
All right, for the Lions, I do have Matthew Stafford as a start. I think he's just going to take off where he left off last year. He's just going to throw.
I don't know, man. This defense, they don't have Clinton Dix anymore, so obviously they've just lost a huge step, right?
Dang, man, just going after former Packers, man.
Well, man, they said that they had graded last year when they signed him, like the week after the Packers signed Adrian Amos. They said that they in every game that they had played, they always graded Clinton Dix higher than Adrian Amos when Amos was on their team and was on the Packers. And I'm like, I think you're wrong. Were you guys watching the games that I was watching? Is terrible.
I'll have what you're drinking. So next up, I have Kerryon Johnson. He's a questionable start in the flex, and it just has to do with DeAndre Swift being banged up and Adrian Peterson's so new. I know running back is like, okay, here, run to the right kind of thing, but I think Kerryon Johnson is going to get the majority of the work while you still can, while you still healthy.
But I wouldn't expect a whole lot of room against this defense for him. But he is the guy who's going to get he's going to get the total bell cow carries this week.
Yeah,
if he's going to get any this season, it's this week.
Yep. Wide receiver. Kenny Galladay's a tough one, man. This is tough. He's doubtful. He's a game-time decision. So it's like if he does suit up, throw him in there because he's just a stud anyways. If he's good enough.
Yeah, let me give my suggestion on this. Matt Patricia, right? If he's a game-time decision and they start him, he's a decoy.
Yeah.
That's my problem with it. So I would say be very wary. He thinks he's Bill Belichick. He is not Bill Belichick. He thinks
he's smarter than everybody else. Yeah. You know what's not a reach is the fact that you want to go ahead and start Marvin Jones.
Yep.
If you have a position available you can start him in as wide receiver or flex, go ahead and do that. I even throw Damian Amendola in there in a PPR start if Galladay is out.
Yeah, only PPR though. So
only PPR. That's all I have for the Detroit Lions. We got Raiders and Panthers next. Kyle, we have Raiders. Go ahead and start first. Hit me.
All right. So I'm look, I got a couple that are weird here. It's Derek Carr. I would only start 2 QB Superflex League. Josh Jacobs is a start and then just sit back and watch that baby blow because this is going to be awesome. Awesome. And then this week especially, man, he's going to be friggin' amazing this week. I would start Ruggs, but in flex only, and I would start Darren Waller, but that's it. That's all I'm running with. That team's going to be a little bit better as time goes on, I think, because you're going to find Bryan Edwards as a likely start. I just don't think that this is the week to do that. If Bryan Edwards is sitting on your waiver wire, go grab him now.
Grab him. He is the wide receiver too.
Whatever position player was your last draft pick is not as good as Bryan Edwards. That's all down. Unless it's Jalen Reagor, then just hold on to Jalen Reagor.
Write that down, Kyle.
Yeah, write that down.
Write that down. All right. Up next for me is the Panthers, and I don't know. Have you heard of this guy, Christian McCaffrey?
No.
McAfee, I think that's how you.
I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar with him.
Okay, well, you're going to want to go ahead and start him. He plays running back, or I guess he can play wide receiver. He can play anything and everything on the field.
Let's face it, we don't have to mention it because if you have him, it's because you had the first pick, and obviously you're starting the first pick every week of the season, unless he's broken, and even then you might still start him if he has a broken leg.
So I get to start him, so that's nice. Wide receiver DJ Moore, that's who I'm starting. Other than that, man, I'm sitting everything else. Ian Thomas is a guy that just kind of keep an eye on with routes. I just like how Teddy Bridgewater he does kind of hang out in that middle to short passes, and I think that Ian Thomas can kind of live there.
Yeah, and you know what, Bridgewater is going to do okay. He's not going to perform enough for you to probably be a start at any point in the season, but he could be like a fill-in if you are needing it, or a 2 QB sort of league.
Yeah, he's going to be a nice bye-week filler, I feel like, this year.
Yep.
All right, so up next we have the Jets at the Bills.
This is a heavy hitter.
Mr. Adam Gase, Mr. You know what?
Mr. B-hole. This one, let's see here. Let me run down here.
You put Joe Flacco as
yeah.
So we're going through and we're listing names and everything like that, and we listed the position and who's there at the position, and
you got it's Adam Gase. You got to have all the backups listed. You have to at least acknowledge that they're there because they could see playing time. They could. So sit Darnold as well as Flacco. You should sit him. He's not a play this week.
2-foot neck.
Sit him. But Le'Veon Bell is a start, and you got to hope that he gets more passing work and that he manages to retain the goal line carries. I think he will. I think that people are just discounting him a little heavily. But then the other guy is Chris Herndon, and I would start him. This is a matchup that you shouldn't expect a ton out of Herndon, but you're gonna like if you have Herndon on your team, you're gonna start him here. This is a great spot for it. But if you don't have him on your team and he's on the waiver wire, keep your eyes on it, because even if he does okay here, then it means Herndon's back. All right.
Right.
So what do you have for me in the Bills?
So
Justin?
no wide receivers for the Jets, huh?
No.
All right. Denzel Mims sounds like he's out for this game, and I don't know. I'm just going to jump in here. Jamison Crowder is a definitely PPR start for me.
Meh.
Maybe even standard league.
Not against the Bills.
I know he's not a. He's the opposite of our fantasy football channel here is the upside, and he doesn't have that. But all right, so for the Bills, you're gonna go ahead and start Josh Allen. If you've watched anything of what we've done, not a huge fan of the Bills offense or Josh Allen. So
but you got to start him. I mean, you did draft him in the 6th round if you have him, guys.
And obviously you weren't listening to us. So now that you found us, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know whenever we're going to throw some more Josh Allen hate. For running back, I do have Devin Singletary. I would love to put him as a flex instead of a RB2. And that's just, I think first game, I think we're going to have Devin Singletary take a good amount of the load. Kyle's shaking his head no, because we both really do like Zach Moss. But I got a feeling it's going to be Devin Singletary this game, but that might be it.
I think Zach Moss is a smash play. I don't know if it happens this week, but I think he is. I think he's.
That's what I just said, though. I mean, it may not happen this week, but that's why I'm going to head and have Singletary. You drafted him most likely in the.
And then who's your other start? Who's your other start here? This team makes me want to just throw up in my mouth.
I'll get to it. Only other start, Stephon Diggs, and even then, it's still a sketchy start. Yeah. Sorry, Dan, you're not watching this, but you drafted Stephon Diggs. I chuckled to myself. Sorry about you. John Brown is going to be the wide receiver 1 on this team.
Yeah. If you're in a PPR, you can start John Brown. I mean, he's the only real volume target on that team. Beasley's probably. All right, moving on. We've got Browns at Ravens, and I'll tell you our Browns.
Are you feeling better now that we've
a little bit? My stomach was hurting off of that one. Not that the Browns are much better here, but at least the Ravens are there to kind of lift our spirits, right? But then, guys, sit Baker, start Chubb. It's risky because he's not looking like running back 1 on this team. Hardly. I think we got 1 and 1A.
1A1. Yeah, it's 1A, 1B.
1A, 1B here. And I'm starting him if I have him. I hope I have guys I can put into RB 1 and 2 spot, and I would love to put him on my flex, but you probably don't based on the draft capital that would cost to get him. The guy that you have the ability to do that with is Kareem Hunt, who I have as a start, and I prefer him in my flex spot. But you can do that because you probably spent him. You got him by
6th round.
6th round. And you should have 2 other running backs already there. Absolutely. Start OBJ, start Jarvis. You kind of got to in those 2 guys. Not a huge fan of Jarvis Landry this week because he's coming off the surgery. Yeah. And I think OBJ is going to blow up. So what do you got on the Ravens?
Lamar Jackson, shocker. And then also, I'm going to go ahead and throw in, I'm going to throw in Mark Ingram. And I think it's just one of those things where it's the first game of the year. They're going to kind of fill out the rest of that running back room, but kind of keep your eye on J.K. Dobbins going ahead and taking over this backfield towards the middle to end of the season. I am going to go ahead and start Marquise Hollywood Brown, just a big boomer bust. Hollywood. He's a boomer bust kind of guy, but if he does anything like he did last year, week 1, he blew up and then didn't do anything. So, hey, go ahead and jump on that one.
He's Sammy Watkins, just like last year.
And Deshaun Jackson, as well.
I mean, one more start. Who do you have as our last start on that one there?
Mark Andrews.
And you knew that. Everybody knew that. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Seahawks at the Falcons. Kyle, you had the Seahawks. Hit me with it.
All right. You got to start Russell. You got to start Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson. He's going to get it done here because the Falcons didn't have a secondary last year, and I don't know if they have one this year. We'll see. They might. And come fourth quarter, Russ is going to have to throw it.
Hey, Russ, win it for us, buddy.
Yeah. Go out there and figure this one out for us. We've kind of screwed the pooch. Pulled a Pete. All right. Chris Carson, you can start. He's fine for now. I would flex Carlos Hyde, though. I think that Carlos Hyde's going to probably see 35+% of the opportunity.
Yep.
Be aware that Penny is on the pup till week 6. So if you're interested in a guy who has the ability to take carries away out of those two guys later on that you might want to stash, a couple weeks from now, start thinking about maybe Rashad Penny. I don't know. I don't like Penny, but maybe you guys do. Wide receivers, we're starting Lockett. Got to start Lockett. And we're going to start DK Metcalf. I know that we don't really care for DK Metcalf to the extent that other people do, but that doesn't mean we don't think the guy's at least a wide receiver.
We like the guy. He's a great guy. Great guy. It's just
I don't know. I've never met him. Yeah, I've never met him. But no, there are people who are drafting him as a wide receiver 2/1.
Like high upside.
Oh no, I saw him go as 13th pick. I saw him go as 13th pick in certain instances. That's wrong. You can do that. Wrong. You're wrong. Yeah. So okay. The only other start I have is Greg Olsen for now. Go grab Disley, stash him if you've got a spot. Do it. Just do it. Please, just do it.
Do it.
All right, Justin, Falcons, give it.
Falcons. Here we go. Matt Ryan, start. Matty Ice, go ahead and start him. Todd Gurley, start him. He's going to get a lot of work.
Start him twice if you can.
If you can.
You can.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going around in today's world that you can do twice. So
yeah,
but wide receiver Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley.
Start him.
Keep an eye on Russell Gage.
Yes,
keep an eye on that one. Just keep a quick little eye on that.
If you're in like a triple flex league, start Russell Gage in one of those flex spots. Do it. The Seattle secondary is not the Seattle secondary that you remember.
Yeah, you don't. It is not. Yeah, it's not. Yeah. And the other one is tight end Hayden Hurst. I'm really excited to see what happens this year, or just this first week. He's finally it's his tight end room. Let's see what happens.
Oh, it's going to be big.
So we're finally getting into the mid-afternoon games. We got Chargers at Bengals. Chargers first. Kyle, what you got?
Tyrod Taylor, it makes me sick, but start him in a super flex or 2 QB league. I think
he's been productive in fantasy purposes whenever he had the start.
3 years ago. 3 years ago, yeah. But look, he's going to be solid enough in that instance.
Right.
I'm starting Eckler everywhere. Start him. He's going to be solid. But I would keep an eye on Josh Kelly. He's somebody that you might want to grab. We talked about him, I want to say, in our super deep sleepers. I think Josh Kelly is actually going to arrest some of these carries away from Eckler, and I think Eckler and Kelly are going to fall into that Eckler-Ingram dichotomy that we'd seen for so long. Keenan Allen start, but don't expect much. You better have guys who you can put in there ahead of him.
You're hoping you have him as your wide receiver 3.
Yeah. And then Hunter Henry, I like him. Start him. He's he's going to probably finish as a tight end 1 overall, like not overall, but like tight end 1. He'll be top 12.
Yeah. All right, for the Bengals, go ahead and sit Joe Burrow. I think a lot of people probably did draft him, but it's first week. Go ahead and sit him. He's going to have that jitters, I would assume. But
if you have him, you can start him. If he's the only QB you got, feel confident. Don't drop him, and don't drop him to like go pick up somebody else like Minshew or somebody. He does have a rushing floor for you, believe it or not.
Yeah,
he does. So if he's your only guy, don't drop him. So
he is pretty athletic. Another start, Joe Mixon, of course. Go ahead and start him. Tyler Boyd, start him. AJ Green, start him. Sit all the other 20 wide receivers that are there, and they don't have a tight end to note. So easy enough for the Bengals.
Yep. All right. Yeah. All right. Cardinals at 49ers. This one's a fun one. This one is going to be a high-scoring game.
Yes.
Not at all. Not at all. No, the Niners aren't going to let them score a ton, man. No, this will be the 49ers' probably highest scoring game, though, of the season because the Cardinals
can't playing stop. Against the Cardinals.
Yeah. All right. So Kyler Murray, I'm starting him still because he does provide that rushing floor. He is a guy that could confuse this defense. Kenyon Drake, I'm still starting him and DeAndre Hopkins and Christian Kirk. These guys are going to get theirs because the volume of plays that occur, they're going to do okay for you. Do not expect any of these guys to win your game for you. That would be very,
I would
very
start
odd.
Christian Kirk with one eye open kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Just
depends.
a quick little, yeah. It's just you may have other wide receivers ahead of him that you drafted that may be just a slightly better pick. Because I mean, his ADP was so low for some reason still. So
Yeah, he was getting drafted like a round or so behind Deontay Johnson, which I thought was a little surprising. But
yeah.
Go ahead. What do you
All
got
right,
on 49ers?
Raheem Mostert, go ahead and start him. Wide receivers, they have a couple that are healthy, I think. I would actually say Dante Pettis is kind of a sneaky start if you wanted to get kind of cute, but that's in a really deep league. And that's, like you're just doing this. That's like maybe a DFS play if you're into that sort of thing. But, hey, there's one other guy. I think his name's George Kittle.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be one of his best games, I think, this week for the whole season. And that's because the Cardinals, I mean, okay, they drafted Isaiah Simmons, linebacker, hybrid type guy.
It's going to take a little while.
It's going to take a little while. George Kittle's a stud. He just eats people up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's going to be nice to watch.
Yep, he does.
Yep.
Buccaneers at Saints.
Yeah,
all
Buccaneers are first. Kyle, hit me.
Start Tom Brady. I think that he'll be fine. I don't think he's going to blow you away. So start Tom Brady if you have him. If you've got a better option, start him. Start Brady. Sit Brady if you've got a better option, honestly. And if you do. Ronald Jones is a start in flex, and so is Leonard Fournette. I would be much more wary about Leonard Fournette. I would only start him in my flex at all, and only if I have multiple flex spots to put guys in.
Right.
Mike Evans is a start, but you need to pay attention. This is a game time decision. In some spots, people are indicating that he's doubtful. Some spots he's indicated as questionable. So pay attention to what's going on there. Bruce Arians has been known to not tell the truth about stuff. But Mike Evans did participate nearly fully in practice on Friday. So that is possible that he is going to play, but he's a game time decision. So keep your ear to the ground. The only other start is Rob Gronkowski, but I would temper my expectations there. I missed out one. Apparently I put sit on Chris Godwin. I don't know why I listed that as sit. Chris Godwin is like smash start right there, right? I
was looking through here. I was like, wait.
Yeah, Chris Godwin's not leaving your lineup this season, so yeah. What happened was start Chris Godwin, and especially if Mike Evans is out, guys.
Yes. All right. The Saints.
Put them both in your wide receivers and in your flex at the same time. All right. So Saints, what do you have for me?
Drew Brees start. Alvin Kamara start. Michael Thomas start. I would love to put Emmanuel Sanders as a start. Not quite ready yet. And that's all I have. I'm not starting Jared Cook because, for us, we drafted a better tight end.
Because he's terrible.
Yep.
Yeah.
He just doesn't get the volume in a high pass-heavy offense. So that gives you an idea of what they think of him.
So here's what I think of him, right? They targeted him, I think, 60 or 65 times last year? And they could have thrown him more passes. They just chose instead to throw 200 attempts at Michael Thomas instead. Like, they're like, that's a better option. So let's add Emmanuel Sanders, and suddenly Jared Cook's supposed to get more targets? No.
He's a huge touchdown regression kind of guy.
All right, guys. Sunday night football. Sunday night.
Alan Chris.
Yeah, back to Alan Chris. And now Chris Collinsworth's son. That's not nepotism at all. No, not nepotism at all. All right, Cowboys. Start Prescott. Start Elliott. Flex Pollard is a possibility, I think, there.
Whoa.
I'm putting him in the flex spot. I think he's going to
get like a PPR, or are we talking?
No, I'm talking Mike McCarthy. I'm talking Mike McCarthy. I'm going to keep my running backs fresh. All right, Mike. Start Cooper, start Gallup. I'm sitting CD Lamb this week, but I'm gonna watch. And then Blake Jarwin, start him. But if you don't have him, prepare to buy low, guys. I don't think that this is the week he blows up. All right.
Yeah.
So prepare to buy low here. All right. Rams, what do you have?
All right. No QB, no Jared Goff.
No.
None of the running backs.
No.
That's just a room that you just don't know what's going to happen. Robert Woods, go ahead and start him. Chipper Cup. Let's get happy again. All right, let's start him. Keep an eye on that wide receiver 3, Josh Reynolds or Van Jefferson. I'm curious to see what happens there. I just think, hey, you know what? at one point a couple years ago, they had 3 starting wide receivers. So that's why I would say keep an eye on that one. I am going to go ahead and start Tyler Higbee. Still kind of a one eye open kind of start with Tyler Higbee. It's really curious to see what happens. That's all I got, man. Now we're to Monday Night Football. We have Steelers at Giants. Steelers are first. Hit me.
2 games on Monday. So, all right, here we go. And make sure that anybody you're starting on the Monday night game or the Sunday night game, that if you can, you want them sitting in your flex spot, guys, because if something happens where they're like a game time decision or something, you can opt to pick somebody up and put them in that spot instead. All right, so QB for Steelers, we are starting Ben Roethlisberger, and we are starting James Conner. At running back, we're sitting the rest of the running backs. We're starting Juju Smith-Schuster. We're starting Deontay Johnson. None of the rest of the wide receivers and none of the tight ends there. That's where we're sitting right now. Chase Claypool is not going to get it done for a little while, guys. So sit back on him if you have him. He is a stash for the time being.
Absolutely.
That's it.
All right, for the Giants, sorry, Danny Dimes. Not starting you against the freaking Pittsburgh Steelers. Not going to happen. Saquon Barkley. Ever heard of him? Yeah, we're going to start him. And then when it comes to wide receivers, man, I'm going to have to sit.
You don't have to do anything with those guys except for sit them.
Sit all 3 of the wide receivers. And I'm talking Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Golden Tate. We just don't know what's going to happen because I don't think they were ever healthy at the same time last year. But if there is one guy that may possibly lead that, I think it's going to be Sterling Shepard, but we just won't know until after week 1. But I am going to go ahead and start Evan Ingram because I think right now he's the best pass-catching weapon. That's not Saquon.
Well, I would say Golden Tate is a really good weapon, but he's just not going to get the.
He's injured too. He's already
he's just
hurt.
Not going to get it done for you in the end. So like Evan Ingram is just an outstanding, phenomenal tight end. So
he
just stays healthy.
Athletic. He's that's the thing.
All right, and then the second Monday night game, we've got Titans at the Broncos, and I'm starting Ryan Tannehill there. Look, the reason I'm doing that is because the Broncos lost Chubb. Right.
Well, they lost Von Miller.
Yeah.
They lost Von Miller.
They got Chubb back, right? Or he's still not quite ready. They lost Von Miller. This defense is not what it needs to be. They're just not going to be able to pressure the QB. And Ryan Tannehill is a guy who's just highly efficient if you're not getting pressure on him. And that's a really solid offensive line because they do the work for Derrick Henry, who you are starting if you have him, but you knew that because you drafted him 3rd or 4th overall in non-PPR, right?
Yeah, I like that Ryan Tannehill start real quick. It just has to do with the fact that they're going to have to disguise a lot of blitzes just to even get to Ryan Tannehill. And he's actually done pretty well when it comes to blitzes in his face.
He's extremely efficient, and he's efficient to 2 guys. And those are the only other 2 starts besides Derrick Henry, and that is A.J. Brown and Jonnu Smith. All others need to be faded. Do not start anybody else on that team right now. I know that we like Durant Evans. This is not the time. Okay, guys?
Sorry, real quick on the Broncos. For some reason, did you do that?
No. No, okay. I wish I had that. That would have been funny.
QB Drew Lock. We're gonna go ahead and sit him. For some reason, I hit start. I don't know what I was doing. Kid must have got to me. I don't know. But you know what? This is another thing. I'm actually gonna sit Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay.
Yep.
And it's just one of those things where it's going to be a true 50-50 backfield, and this is not a good enough offense to really carry split workload backs as starting backs.
Not only that, man, this team's going to fall behind in this game. I have a full expectation. That's what's going to hurt, and they're going to be game scripted out by the middle of the 3rd quarter. They're out of this game as far as usefulness, unless Bill O'Brien's calling plays, at which point down 24, he's still going to call 3-run plays to start a series. I don't know. They might need to. It is Drew Lock. I'm really.
All right. For wide receivers, game time decision. It sounds like for Courtland Sutton, he has not been practicing. Injured AC joint in the shoulder. I'm gonna go ahead and sit.
I don't expect him to play. I don't expect him to play.
If he does sit, go ahead and throw Jerry Jeudy if you really want to. If you're really desperate at wide receiver, but still, this is not a sexy offense. But I am gonna start Noah Fant. And it's
literally, you're starting Fant.
I am. And it's like, who else is Drew Lock going to throw to? He's got to throw to somebody.
Well, is the ground available? He could throw
the
to
ground is going to be available a lot, I think, with Drew Lock.
There's something about Denver quarterbacks who they just Like they had Jay Cutler. He
They
loves
can't
the
draft.
third round.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, guys, that's it. Actually, we got through all those matchups. That was fairly fast, I think. We didn't go too deep of a dive on any of that, but that's what we got. We will go a little bit deeper when we hit these episodes next week, when we break them down into 2 different episodes. And we wanted to get these all in before the games start tomorrow so that you have that. We are also going to drop another episode here where we're going to do a lot of I guess we're going to do starters, streamers, and fades. So we'll post that here as well today. So keep an eye out for that one. And but next week we're going to post those as separate episodes in and of themselves, so that we can go a little bit further for you. We like to bring that upside value, right?
Oh yeah.
So make sure that you guys are subscribed so that we can help you get that
championship
this year. And we will, make sure you hit that bell. That way you're also notified every time we upload the podcast. We're going to aim for at least 5 days a week for you here. Looking at Tuesday through Saturday is what we're aiming for right now. We might do some Sunday live stuff. Let us know down in the comments if you want to do live stuff. Put it down there in the comments so that we know. Or you can hit us up on Twitter, or as I like to call Twitter, Facebook, apparently. But we will see you guys next time. Thanks for being a fan of the upside. And good luck this weekend. Good luck. Bye.
See you guys.